Hi, I'm Mo. I'm a master cat milker.
And I'm TJ, and the only spice I control is sodium on account of my high blood pressure.
And this is...
It's still new to us, damn it!
Welcome to It's Still New to Us, damn it. I'm Mo, he's TJ, we just said, and we're here to watch every movie ever made to become the smartest people in the world.
That's right, and we are, well, what percentage would you say we're at? Point zero
Point-
zero.
8? I say 0.008.
Alright, that's a good number,
That's
sure.
good, yeah.
Well, welcome everyone. This will be
Hello.
our first show of 2023. We're actually recording this on New Year's Eve.
Yes.
But we won't get it to you until the new year, so we hope everyone had a nice and safe time. If for no other reason than to listen to season 3 of It's Still New to Us, damn it.
Yes, we all know that our listeners depend on us for comfort all
That's
this
right.
time. Yes.
Some would call us heroes.
Yeah.
Others would call us slobs who record in our parents' basements.
Yes. We're back in my parents' house. We're in the shit room where all the pipes are. So if you hear any noises, that's definitely somebody who took a poo.
But it's good plumbing, though.
Yeah, it's good plumbing, you know.
Yeah, no concern.
Once we sell it, it's going to be good plumbing. So at least you know that. So that's good. Anyway, how was your holiday, TJ?
Oh, it was great.
Yeah. Get any movies?
Yeah, I got the Alfred Hitchcock box set. 15 of his movies. It's
Yes.
a terrific set.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to going through those. I've only seen probably 5 of them. So it's got some of his deeper cuts I'm
That's
excited
cool.
to check
Yeah.
out.
I also got I didn't get it for Christmas, but I also got a Alfred Hitchcock box set with some of his earlier films a little bit. I think in the 1940s and like early 50s. So it doesn't have Vertigo and stuff like that, but it has like
Oh, sure.
it has like Strangers from a Train. I think it has Dial M for Murder.
Nice.
Yes, and also has his only comedy, Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you checked that one out yet?
Yes,
And how'd you like it?
funny. I liked
Good.
it. I like screwball comedies from
Has
the
he
1940s.
made a bad movie that we know of?
I don't know, maybe his 70s stuff, 60s stuff.
Maybe.
I mean,
Well, I have those, so
people,
we'll watch those.
I don't
one
think
day.
they're saying they're bad, you know, they're just not the same quality as like Rear Window or Vertigo.
Yeah, they can't all be psycho, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
The guy was still a master as far as I know.
Yeah, like Family Plot, I don't think people really like that much.
Oh,
Or-
see, that's on my box set. We'll
Yeah.
have to watch that one of these
Yeah.
days. I did also get... Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go, yeah.
No, because this will divert things a little bit.
Okay, well, the only movie I got the Dazed Confused Criterion box set. So
Nice.
that's going to be fun.
Good
I don't know if
movie.
it's Blu-ray or not, but it has commentary from everybody. Also has a little book with essays from the cast and stuff, so that's
Nice.
cool. Yeah.
Nice. I
And a
got-
poster. I got a sweet-ass poster, too.
For Dazed and Confused?
Yeah, it's included in
Nice.
the box set.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I also got Love and Mercy on DVD.
All right.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
So, there we go.
That's cool.
I can watch it anytime I want.
Yes, we can.
But all right, enough of the stalling. I guess we should talk about our movie for this week.
Let's do this. And this week's movie is Dune. The 1984 version. Of course, released in 1984. Written and directed by David Lynch himself.
Yes.
The auteur.
The auteur David Lynch.
David Lynch. Now, TJ, you chose David Lynch as your topic for this
Yeah, and I do it again.
You do it again. Okay.
I do it again, yeah.
You do it again. Okay,
I
that's
regret
good.
nothing.
That's great. Why did you chose David Lynch? Did you explain that in the like the preview? Or-
I
Let's go
may
into
have
it
a
then.
little bit. Admittedly, he's one of those directors that I'm not like. I wouldn't say I'm like a big fan of. I like Twin Peaks a lot, so I guess I'm a fan. I don't know. I'm not like, but I also haven't seen nearly all of his movies. I've seen Mulholland Drive, and that might have been it.
Yeah.
And so I chose 3 movies. What were they? Dune, The Elephant Man, and the hell was my last
Was it
one? even?
Popeye? No, Popeye was Robert Altman.
No, it wasn't Popeye. That'll be for another.
Was
day.
it Wild at Heart? It was
Wild at Heart, that's
it was
right.
Wild at Heart. Yeah.
I always hear, obviously Twin Peaks is one of those shows that when I first watched it, I was too young to fully get it.
Yeah.
But I still stuck through it till the end, and I think I was just being pretentious. I was like, oh yeah, that was
Were
really
you
good.
young
That was
enough
really
to
good.
watch the original one?
Oh hell no.
You
No,
know?
no. I'm talking when I got it. Like, I mean, I was still in my 20s when I watched it on Netflix.
Yeah.
When I first got Netflix, so probably like 20 years old, and I was like, probably just being a pretentious douchebag. Like, oh yeah, it was a really good show, and
Yeah.
I did like it. I didn't follow it as well as I thought I did.
Mm-hmm.
And then I rewatched it a couple years ago, and really enjoyed it then. He's got obviously his own. I'm not like part of the cult following of it per se, but
Yeah.
I do like it a lot. I find it very entertaining, and I love the aesthetic of early 90s, late 80s TV dramas.
Yeah.
And that one is obviously very influential.
Yeah.
I mean, it did influence a ton, I'm sure.
Yeah.
So I don't know why I chose David Lynch. For some reason, I've always wanted to watch Dune. I've read the first chapter.
You read the first chapter.
Yes.
Down. Yes.
I have not seen the new one. I'm not huge on fantasy to begin with, so I don't know if I'll actually continue reading it. But I always wanted to see this Dune movie because it came out It struck me as a movie that came out, obviously it's post Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's like right in the thick of the Star Trek movies being big.
Yeah.
And so it's almost like the studio wanted to bank on that. And I just found it so odd. Why did David Lynch get this movie?
Well, we'll go into it later on, but yeah. So David Lynch actually had a chance to direct a Star Wars. He was in the running for Empire Strikes Back,
Yeah.
but he had a famous meeting with George Lucas where they were talking, and then George Lucas mentioned Ewoks, and that gave David Lynch a headache. And then the restaurant they went to only served salads, and they gave David Lynch more of a headache. So it was just like, I'm not going to do this. He said it's your thing, not mine. So I'm not going to Return of the Empire Strikes Back.
So instead he takes on the role of adapting one of the most famously intricate fantasy worlds into a 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So story of that, he never read Dune before, and so he read the book, and he said he loved it, and he'll do it. So he just did it. I don't know, maybe he wanted to see if he could do it. I don't know why he did it, but he just said, yeah, I can do it. And so it took a lot of time, though. He said it was a nightmare to work on it, so it took him 3 years of his life.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the set pieces and all that required, it would take a lot of time.
Yeah.
The production values must have been very high for this.
Yeah. It was $40 million. In 1984 money, that's
and
a
it
lot.
Didn't make much.
No, it did not. No.
Yeah.
So anyway, this is based off Dune by Frank Herbert, the famous sci-fi writer. Of course, once again, I thought about reading Dune, but if I got Dune, I would have never read Dune. You know, like I bought a book called Neuromancer. It's one of those famous steampunk books. You know,
Sure.
It started everything, and I started reading it. Like, this is fucking awful. This is the worst book ever because it's basically describing like sleazy sex scenes and like if you draw it, it seems cool.
Yeah.
But if you don't draw it and you just use your imagination, like, this sounds like the most lamest shit of all time.
Sure.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get back into it. So this Dune stars a lot of people. I decided to go the full mile on this and actually do everybody listed on Wikipedia. So this is going in alphabetical order. So Francisca Annis. Stars in Quell and Under the Cherry Moon. I believe she played the mother.
Sure.
Leonardo Cimino in Moonstruck and the Monster Squad. I believe you said he was the assistant.
Yes.
To the Baron.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Bad Dwarf. One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and Child's Play. He voices Chucky.
That's right.
Who did Bad Dwarf play? He played
In this movie, he was Piter.
Piter.
What's his name? He was he was like one of the Harkonnen's henchmen or something.
Yeah. Jose Ferrer, Ferrer.
Yeah, Ferrer, yeah.
He's a very famous actor.
Yes.
Was in Cyrano de Bergerac, the play, and then the movie. He won an Oscar for that. And the remake of To Be or Not to Be.
Yes.
Which I saw the original. It is fantastic.
Is it? I have the remake. I have not seen it yet.
Yes, I heard that it's not fantastic.
You're talking about the Mel Brooks one.
Yeah, the Mel Brooks
right?
one, yes.
Yes. I have not watched it yet. I do have it.
I know Hitler raps in it. That's all I know.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Jose Ferrer was also in a Lame Columbo episode.
That's cool.
One of my lesser favorites, anyway.
Started watching Columbo a little bit.
Nice.
It's good, yeah.
It's
the first season right now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, so he's not even Columbo yet.
He's not even Columbo yet. But you can just see it. You're just like,
little bits of him. Oh,
once you first see Columbo, it's like, you're fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's like, every time they meet Columbo, he's like, oh, this guy's a fucking idiot. And then he does like the one more thing, and then he's like, oh, he's got you.
My favorite trend, and maybe you haven't seen it so much yet, is every time he comes across the killer, they always decide to deputize themselves. Well, let me help you with this. And it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
Leave him to be, and you might be all right. Yeah. Anyway, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we'll do a Columbo series. Why not?
Yeah, that'd be fun.
We could. He does TV movies, so it counts.
You're right.
That
actually,
counts,
you're right.
Linda Hunt, The Year of Living Dangerously, and Kindergarten Cop.
Terrific.
Yeah, she was a principal, and she also stars in NCIS right now.
Yep.
Freddie Jones, The Elephant Man, and The Never Ending Story 3, Escape from Fantasia, a.k.a. the Jack Black one.
Sure.
Yeah. Virginia Madsen, Sideways, and Highlander 2, The Quickening.
The Quickening?
The Quickening.
Wow.
That's one of those famous titles, like,
Die Harder?
Yeah, Die Harder, Electric Boogaloo, it's like...
Yeah, sure.
If you want to parody something, you put, like, The Quickening on it.
I never knew that's where it came from.
Yeah. Silvana Mangano, The Witches, and My Wife...
My Wife.
It's probably not a bad film, because I don't think she starred in many films.
Okay.
She was a famous Italian actress.
Sure.
But I just want to say my wife.
That's good.
Yeah. Evert McGill, Evert McGill,
Yeah.
Silver Bullet, and Under Siege 2, Dark Territory. Oh, he played Big Ed in Twin Peaks.
Oh, sure. That's
Yeah,
what I recognize.
yeah,
Nice.
yeah.
There are a few Twin Peak actors.
Yeah,
in
so
here.
David Lynch likes
Yeah.
to use actors and
Yep,
actresses.
he's one of those guys, those faces that you recognize from a ton of stuff.
Yeah.
He was in License to Kill, the James Bond movie as well.
Yeah, I think Bad Dwarf was in some David Lynch stuff also. Was he in Twin Peaks or like a small role maybe?
Not that I remember, but it's actually entirely possible.
Yeah, it's possible. Like a lot of people were. I think Linda Hunt was.
Yes, I believe you're right
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah. Kenneth Kenneth McMillan, the Pope of Greenwich Village, and Heartbeats, the Andy Kaufman film,
Oh, terrific.
where he's a robot. Yeah.
Terrific.
Jack Nance, Eraserhead, and Ghoulies.
Yeah,
So he was
that's a big one
Yeah.
for David Lynch.
Yeah.
He was definitely in Twin Peaks.
He was in Twin Peaks. Yeah, of course he
Eraserhead,
was
of
Eraserhead. Oh,
course.
he was the main lead in Eraserhead.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And Ghoulies, the
Ghoulies.
Gremlins ripoff.
I have not seen Ghoulies, but its reputation precedes
Yes,
it.
it is.
Yes.
Terrible and amazing at the same time.
That's just the best combination.
Yeah. Sean Phillips, Sian Phillips,
Yeah.
The Days of Innocence and Valmont. Jürgen Pochnow. Jürgen Pochnow.
Yeah.
Beverly Hills Cop 2 and Body of Evidence, the Terror Madonna sex film.
Oh God.
Yeah. It's one of those steamy like sex thrillers they had back in the 90s, and this
Sure.
one was a pure failure.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Paul Smith, he was Pluto in Popeye.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the other
Nice.
main henchman
Yeah, he
with
was,
Sting. Yeah.
Sting's brother.
He's the
or
guy that
something, or-
he's the guy that ate the tongue.
Yeah.
That was him.
Okay.
In Crime Wave, the Sam Raimi movie.
All right.
That was like after Evil Dead. Him and the Coen brothers hooked up and did that one movie. It was not really successful, but I think it's considered okay. You know,
I haven't seen that one. Actually.
it's very wacky.
And I love
it's like,
the Coen brothers and
Yeah.
Sam Raimi.
Mm-hmm. Where was I?
Sting.
Oh, yeah. Patrick Stewart.
Oh, can't miss him.
Yeah. Logan and the Page Master.
The Page Master.
Page
God, I
Master.
remember seeing that as a kid.
It's so hard to choose from his filmography because like he was in X-Men.
Yeah.
He was in like many other movies. So I said, okay, why not Logan?
Yeah, it's a good movie.
Excuse me. Sting. If I mention Sting.
Sting will play us out.
Yes. Quadrophenia, the Who album and movie. And he was himself in Zoolander 2.
Oh boy.
Yep. Also in one of the films we have done, The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, as the soldier who did a heroic act but died anyway.
That's right.
Yeah. And Dean Stockwell from Paris, Texas, and McHale's Navy. And also in Quantum Leap, the best version.
The original?
The original, not the new version, which is terrible.
Is it? I haven't seen it.
It's bad. They took like all the fun out of it. Now it's like all serious and stuff. So it's just like, ugh.
Sure.
Like the companion, instead of Al, they have his girlfriend. So it's kind of hard for us to enjoy like him having romantic like escapades and stuff because she's like right there. But also she's like not interesting. They have Al's actual daughter in it. I think they should have just her be the stand-in. You know,
Sure.
simple, easy.
You'd think so.
Yeah. Max von Sydow.
Sydow, yeah.
Max von Sydow, The Exorcist, and The Exorcist 2, The Heretic.
Terrific.
Yeah. What is he known for? He's in Star Wars, right, Max?
He was in 7.
He was
Episode
in 7?
yeah.
Episode 7, but he's been in like many
Just the
other
beginning.
movies.
Oh, he's in a shitload of stuff.
Yeah. Elisa Witt was the child. She was like another favorite character of mine.
Aaliyah, yeah.
Yeah. Citizen Ruth and Urban Legend, the Scream ripoff.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. She was in Sybil. Like she was also in Twin Peaks. She played I think Claire Flynn Boyle's sister.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. Noticed
Yeah.
that.
And Son Young, Blade Runner, and Dr. Jekyll and Mrs. Hyde.
Ooh, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's everybody who was in it. We'll explain why some people were in it, why they were not in it, especially Virginia Madsen. But yeah, so this budget of this film was $40 million or $42 million, depending who asked, and it made a total of $30.9 million or $37.9 million.
Ooh.
So it almost made its money back, but
Ooh.
no, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think studios like almost making their money back.
Yeah, that's true.
Yikes.
Yeah, so I guess that's before we start like the movie itself, because I think it's gonna be hard to just digest this whole movie into
Yeah.
like a simple thing. Let's go into
Very
the
hard.
background a little bit. Okay, so Dune Very famous novel, of course, in the 1960s. So you said like Star Wars and stuff. That's why they made this movie. Well, this movie they tried to make it back in like the early 70s, like 71 and stuff like that. Like some people bought the rights to it, some people were connected to it, but then they sold the rights. So in 1947, the film was required by a French consortium
Consortium,
led by John Paul Gibbon,
sure.
with Alejandro Jodorowsky attached to the direct. He proceeded to try to get a lot of people for this. He tried to get Pink Floyd and Magma to do the music.
Nice.
Dan O'Brien to do the visual effects. Artist H.R. Geiger, John Giard, G-I-R-A-U-D, and Chris Foss for the set designer and character design.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He tried to cast Salvador Dali as the Emperor, Orson Welles as Baron Harkonnen,
yeah.
Mick Jagger as Feed Rathura,
Which is the Sting role.
The Sting role.
Fade.
Udo Kai as Peter D. Vers.
Mm-hmm.
Udo Kai. David Carradine as Leto Atreides.
Atreides.
And his son Bontis Jodorowsky as Paul Atreides.
Yes.
And Gloria Swanson, among others. My guess he was going to be the mother.
Right.
That's my guess. But unfortunately, the project was scrapped because
you'd be insane.
Yeah.
Adapt this novel.
Now this is covered in actual the documentary.
It's on my list.
Yeah, Jodorowsky's Dune.
I've heard this is an excellent documentary.
Excellent documentary. It would have been insane, but it would have cost too much. And it would have been 14 hours long.
Have you watched the documentary?
No, I have not. No.
Should watch that.
Yeah, we should.
It'd be fun.
I should have watched it for this, but it ran out of time.
That's all right.
Yeah, but it was supposed to be a major epic, like sets galore. Like imagine Alien time 10.
Yeah.
That's how it's supposed to be. And of course, that a lot of these ideas and also the character designs and everything was taken from this idea and put into Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which I don't know. It was who directed the first Alien?
That was Ridley Scott.
Ridley Scott, yeah. So that was taking that from that and put into Alien. Because O'Bannon wrote it, and of course H.R. Geiger was also a set designer and character designer.
H.R. Geiger was the one that made Alien one of the scariest movies of all time, in my opinion. It's not just the jump scares; it's the design of the alien and the spaceship and the planet that they land on.
Yeah.
So it would have been wild to see him design a Dune movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, it would have been too long, and that's also the major reason why this film is like this. But we'll get into that later. So
yeah, something tells me back in the 70s and 80s, you didn't make parts 1 and 2, really.
Well, there were sequels. I mean, who made sequels?
There were sequels for sure.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't adapt such a winding story and leave it at a cliffhanger, would you? I mean, Star Wars, like A New Hope, the first Star Wars movie is a self-contained story.
Yeah.
The only reason Empire Strikes Back could end with such a cliffhanger is because it already had the clout. It had the guaranteed fan base. If you did just Dune Part 1, who knows, like, if you're going to get a chance to make Part 2.
Yeah. Plus, wasn't, like, Star Wars, like, Darth Vader didn't die at the end, so you could still, like, have that go on.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So,
yeah. They kept it open-ended.
Yeah.
They were smart to do that. But you still could also assume maybe he did die. You never know.
Yeah. Okay, so then so now we go to, I believe, 1977, I believe, or around the mid-70s, late 70s. The man who produced this movie, who made it all possible, Dino De Laurentiis, he got the rights and hired Herbert to write the script. But unfortunately, that script was 175 pages long, which, in screenwriting terms, every minute's one page. Sure. So that would have been like 4 hours. So
damn,
that would have been no. And he hired Ridley Scott and a man named Rudy Wurlitzer, Scott to direct and Rudy to write the screenplay. But he still kept on H.R. Geiger to help design.
Sure.
But Scott quit after realizing it would take way too long. It would take like 2 years of his life, and he was going through some stuff. His brother just died, so it was like he just handed the script back to Dino. It was like, you just take care of it. I don't want to do this.
No shit. Yeah.
Okay, so then now on to Lynch. So the reason why, so Lynch, we said before, he was offered tons of movies. He was just coming off The Elephant Man, A Critical Darling, nominated for an Oscar. I believe did John Hurt win the Academy Award for Best Actor in that? I'm not sure.
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but it was, once again, it was a huge critical success. And I believe this is known as his brother. I'm not sure, or his daughter, I believe. Rafala De Laurentiis saw the movie and said David Lynch should direct Dune. And so David Lynch never read Dune before, did not know about the books, read the book and said, I loved it, I'll do it. So he loved it, and so then he began working on a script for 6 months with Eric Berggren, Bergren, and Christopher DeVore. He wrote 2 scripts, but they split over creative differences, and so then David Lynch wrote like 5 more drafts of it, where Dune would be 2 films, but then they put it into 1, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so the 6th script was 135 pages long. So that would be over 2 hours, maybe 3 hours or so. But it shot entirely in Mexico. We had 80 sets built in 16 sound stages and a crew of 1,700 and extras of 20,000. So 20,000 extras he had to direct.
Damn.
It took 6 months to shoot, of course. It was plagued by production problems, like failing electricity, communication problems with Mexico because the difference of language, and health-related issues.
Oh.
Yeah, it should take a while to film. So
Sounds pleasant.
Yeah, it sounds really pleasant. Editing. So the rough cut of this film is 4 hours long, without the special effects and everything. That's 4 hours. Lynch's cut, the one he wanted, was 3 hours long. Okay, but of course the studio and the backers, they wanted 2 hours long minimum because that was the regular. If you're going to make a long movie, it needs to be at least 2 hours long to keep people's attention, because many people are not going to be paying attention for a 3 hour long movie or 4 hour long movie. So they cut scenes, they added new scenes to explain the plot more. So that's why you get a lot of dialogue heavy moments, like when we first meet Kyle MacLachlan. You see he's studying on his little iPad thing, and it's like that explains like everything. It's like, oh, like why are we in war with them and stuff like that. And the reason why sometimes you hear them like you hear them think, that's just like to go move on.
Well, it's an exposition.
To move it faster, so that way they don't have to make more scenes.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, which is understandable, but maybe ruins the film.
Yeah.
And the reason why Virginia Madsen's in the beginning is because of that, because they wanted to explain everything to everybody, so that way people wouldn't get confused, even though they were still confused.
Yeah, did it really work?
Yeah. So I was watching a Red Letter Media video on this movie and the remake of it. The new version, we should say. And so, like, it was like she's explaining everything, but she's like, "Oh, I'm done now." But like, wait a minute. So she keeps on going.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a joke in that way.
Yeah, that's
actually, I was saying that. Yeah,
that's pretty.
It's like, wait a minute,
clever,
hold on, I got more. And I was like, you got more? Like,
yeah, no kidding.
Yeah. So yeah, anyway, so they did all that, and Lynch hated it. He hated the experience of working on this movie. He hated the cut of the movie, and so he wanted to be disowned by it. He wanted to put Alan Smithy in. He wanted Alan Smith in the movie, but I don't know why. I guess they wouldn't allow him to do that because he was the big get. So he was like, oh, this is a David Lynch film. If it's a Lynch film, people go see it. So he didn't get that. So yeah.
I gotta ask, why did Dino De Laurentiis' daughter or whatever, why did she watch The Elephant Man and think, oh, you know what, he'd be great for this science fiction epic?
Maybe because it was weird, and she know this film was weird.
No, I do know that directing isn't necessarily aimed, if someone can competently direct a drama, it doesn't necessarily mean they can't direct a science fiction movie.
Yeah.
I know that the director's job isn't necessarily to design everything.
Yeah.
But it just is interesting. Like, maybe she just thought it was... We haven't watched The Elephant Man yet. We'll get to that one. Maybe,
yeah.
I guess, something about the... I don't know. I just find that interesting. Like, things like, why was Tim Burton pegged for Batman? It makes no sense to me. The guy admitted to not even reading a comic book.
Yeah.
But whatever. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, well, this is Lynch's first foray into, like, the studio system. Because, like, it's mostly been him before that. Even though he only done 2.
And did it scare him away from that?
Yes.
Yeah. Sure seems
He did
like
it forever.
Yeah, sure.
He's like, I need final. They didn't give him final cut for this film, so he's like, okay, I'm never doing that again. I'm gonna have final cut on all my films. But then of course, he did Blue Velvet, and then he did Twin Peaks.
So you could say that this was the origin of the auteur David Lynch.
David Lynch, even though he did write and direct this film himself, but
he did, but it's based on a book.
It's based on a book, and also he didn't have the final say on the film.
Sure.
But yeah, but of course that went on, and then he's still seated in Hollywood, even though his films went back by major studios.
It is pretty incredible, actually.
Yeah.
That success story of his, especially considering this movie bombing as well, as heavily as it did.
Well, it was successful for him. It was the most movie he ever made, like, in doing a film, because, like, Erase Ahead was, like, I guess, early indie hit,
Yeah, it was like a midnight movie.
And then a midnight movie kind of thing. And then, of course, Elephant Man was a critical darling and won a lot of awards, I believe. I don't know, we'll get to that when we watch Elephant Man. But so he was just coming off that, and so like it's like when like Marvel's doing now, where they find like small directors, like they can take control of when they have like a small indie hit, and then they're like, you're controlling now a $400 million project.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's fair. I mean, Ryan Johnson was largely, you know,
Yeah, he
kinda
made Brick, and then
right.
yeah,
And Looper was I mean, that was kind of a bigger studio one, right? But
Yeah.
like he was known for he's an auteur himself, I
Yeah.
would say. And then he's given Star Wars.
yeah.
So shit happens like that, I guess.
Then you get Glass Onion, which is, and also.
Did you see that yet?
No.
By the way? Oh, I like that.
No, but I've seen the first one. The
I love Knives Out.
yeah, Knives Out.
Oh,
That was
so
really good.
good.
That was really good. So yeah, so that's like the main story of it. He disavows it, like kind of to this day. He doesn't want to talk about it at all because he hated it. It was a nightmare for him.
Mm-hmm. I didn't
Yeah.
even know this movie existed until a few years ago, honestly.
Yeah, I think this is what people consider like the weakest of the Lynch's filmography.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised,
Yeah.
honestly. Let me ask you, going into this, what was your experience with Dune, the franchise?
Dune the franchise, I would say also like none. Like I think I've heard of Dune. You know, I probably passed it by a bookstore a couple times, but you know, I know Dune as it's like it's like every science fiction nerd's favorite book, right?
It's a powerhouse.
It's a powerhouse.
A juggernaut.
Yes,
a juggernaut, rather.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's mostly it. You know, I never really heard much of Dune. I mean, I don't think I even saw a clip from this before I watched the film.
Yeah.
You know, I know about the spice. That's about it.
Right.
But that's like a famous thing from it, like the
Yeah.
spice controls.
And that's
everything.
been a joke outside of the movie and outside of the franchise. It's kind of, you know, spice. It's, to be honest, I always thought that when I heard spice as some kind of literary reference, I always thought of Star Wars because that's what Han Solo, he was a spice smuggler,
Ah.
and it was a drug in that universe. So I kind of always thought of that. And then it wasn't until actually the new movie came out that I realized, oh, spice references Dune.
Yeah.
And I'd always heard of this Dune book as like a sci-fi, you know, masterpiece. And so I bought it a few years ago, wanting to read it. And like I said, I sometimes some books I'll cruise right through, some I'll really struggle once I own it. I admittedly was disappointed. I thought it would be like pure science fiction.
Yeah.
I love pure science fiction, Star Trek, 2001, things like that, or like even dystopian stuff is
Yeah.
kind of what I was imagining when I heard it was a futuristic sci-fi thing. And no, it's more Star Wars in that it's kind of it's more fantasy, I would say.
Yeah.
Mixed with science fiction and my favorite, political intrigue.
Ooh.
I do like good political intrigue. In fact, I
So
feel
you're,
like
you're a prequels fan then? We have our record ready here. You love the prequels. You think the prequels are the best movies? Of the Star
no,
Wars
I
trilogy?
like the prequels. I think they tell a terrific story, but they are bogged down with bad acting and bad direction, especially I'd say. Bad writing and direction, I would say specifically. But they do tell a great story and they build a fantastic world. And I have no doubt that Dune the book does too. And actually, I would like to read it still. Like I said, I thought it would just be heavy science fiction, maybe dystopia, something. Finding out it was more on the fantasy side, it's fine. I mean, honestly, I could see George R. Martin having taken some inspiration with his Song of Ice and Fire, aka Game of Thrones books. What with the feuding families, you had the wildlings in Game of Thrones, who are these natives that live beyond the wall, and
those are like the people,
the Fremens, or whatever. Yeah, exactly. So I think I'm warming up to the idea of it not just being a sci-fi book, and I would like to read it. But again, I had like no idea what it was about still, even going into this movie, other than there's spice on a planet and two families are fighting over it.
Yeah, I think 3 families, right?
Well, there's definitely the Harkonnens and the Atreides, but then it seems like the other faction would be the Emperor, Jose Ferrar's character.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll get into the film now. Okay,
Yeah,
so
might as well.
let's get into the initial reactions. So,
Should I read a synopsis? at
Yes,
all?
read a synopsis first. Yes.
All right, take notes, folks. This is a fun one.
Yeah.
In the year 10,191, melange, also known as spice, is the universe's most valuable commodity. It allows users not only a trippy experience, but also an elongated life and instantaneous travel to any part of the known universe. However, it is located solely on the planet Arrakis, and its mining has been entrusted to House Atreides by Universe Emperor Shaddam IV. It's revealed early on, however, that the Emperor, afraid of House Atreides' growing power, has purposely entrusted them with the planet in hopes that their rivals, the Harkonnens, will wipe them out. Sure enough, when the Atreides arrive on Arrakis, they are quickly attacked by Harkonnen forces, and Duke Leto Atreides is killed. Luckily, however, his wife, Lady Jessica, and his son, Paul, are able to escape assassination, and after dodging the planet's native sandworms, encounter the Freemen, or Fremen, I'm not sure, natives of Arrakis, who have been waiting on a prophesied messiah, who turns out to be Paul. He dons a new name, Paul Mawid-Dib, and accepts his role as the leader of the Freemen who will drive back the Emperor's attacking forces. Paul is successful in securing the planet for the Freemen and further fulfills their prophecy by making it rain. That was me rubbing my hands together, making it rain.
Was he making it rain money? I don't know that.
No. He makes it actual precipitate rain on Arrakis, which is something that's never happened before. In the end, I'd say some minor hilarity ensued. With the guy floating around.
Yeah.
Come on, the Baron.
Got the Baron.
But yes, that is my best attempt to wrap up this ridiculously intricate plot into a paragraph.
Okay, so yeah, let's just start with our first reactions to the film, I guess, because it's gonna be hard to just go plot point by plot point.
We're not gonna be able to do
That's impossible.
We're not gonna. This is not gonna be like breaking down the English Patient.
Yeah.
This is much more. This is much different.
It's much different.
Go ahead. What were your initial reactions?
Okay, so when I was watching the film, I was very confused.
Yeah.
It was hard to understand because once again, I understand why people consider this very hard to make into a movie. Because the names are very hard to pronounce. You probably need subtitles, which I should have done, which you did.
Mm-hmm.
I still didn't understand what was going on. So Virginia Madsen, the reason she's in the movie is to help people understand the movie. So expand what's going on, why are these planets feuding, introducing the planets, the characters, and all that stuff. Problem is, he goes on for too long, and we still don't know what's going on.
Right.
I don't know what's happening. Because then we just cut to the Emperor and a giant fucking slug
What was
thing.
that thing?
That was
with its creepy mouth.
The creepy mouth. That's a
thing.
being who spent too much time in the spice.
Okay.
So yeah, so he.
Gotcha. I didn't catch
if
that. So he's addicted or something?
He's not addicted to it, but he just spent so much time in the spice that it mutated him. And this is in the original book too.
Okay.
But instead of being giant fucking slug monsters who leak shit, they're just kind of normal human beings with gills or something like that. Slight mutations. But David Lynch, being David Lynch, decided, no, fuck it. You're gonna be giant fucking two slug monsters who are being carried around in giant tanks.
And they want Paul Atreides dead.
They want Paul Atreides dead because the Emperor's jealous, I guess, and so he makes a deal with, I guess, I don't know, they don't control the spice, those slug monsters. They're also teleporters.
Well, they explain that you can use the spice to fold space, so that you can travel instantaneously.
So they do that. So that's why when you see those scenes of the slug monsters, and you see beams shooting out into different planets, that's people traveling to different planets using the slug monsters.
Yes.
Which, of course, we don't know. Even if you watch the film, why are they here? Because they don't explain it to you. They forgot to explain that.
I'm sure there's a lot they forgot to explain.
Yeah, they forgot to explain. So they want to, they team up with the Baron, what's the name?
Baron Harkonnen.
Harkonnen, yes. Baron Harkonnen to kill Kyle MacLachlan's father and try to take over the spice trade.
Duke Leto Atreides.
Atreides.
Because as the Baron says, he who controls the spice controls the universe.
Exactly.
So
my favorite part of that, though, I noticed this, when the slug comes in, there's little guys vacuuming up anything, there's suds and everything, and when he leaves, the suds are still there.
That is funny. That was funny. Actually, I caught that too.
Yeah. So that's one of David Lynch's little things. Maybe that's because this film was a failure upon its release, but again, it got cult following because the people who read the books, this is kind of more faithful to the books.
Sure.
I'd say the new one, even though the new one I heard is really good.
I've heard
but I say from what I watched a video on Red Letter Media about this. Of course, I said before. The main difference is the amount of everything is in the newest one is very minimal. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't have the amount of sets and everything like that, and that's kind of good about it. But this one also has a bunch of sets, and it's very creative. Yes. It's insane. The design for this is amazing. Character designs are great. I guess the acting maybe not the best because they were just giving a bunch of dialogue. Yeah. And you can't really tell any character between each other except for the Baron, which is the best part of this movie.
He's so comedically fat and gross. And
it's great. But also the weirdness of David Lynch kind of makes this movie actually kind of great because it's just insane. Yeah. The stuff he does in this and the designs he made.
Yeah. I had a really tough time grading this one, I will say.
Yeah.
And I won't reveal my grade yet.
So I must say, watching it, okay, so I guess we gotta kind of bring it down a little bit. So after that, I think then we meet Kyle MacLachlan, and then there's more exposition after that. that's like explaining why everybody's in war and why we're fighting them, why we need to fight them, and stuff like that. And then we get into the fighting duels, the shields.
Oh yeah, those goofy ass
shields.
Minecraft looking shields. Yeah.
Now I should give some like not like a pat on the back, like some slack to it because it was 1984, and even Star Wars like had its problems with special effects back then too. But
I'm not gonna knock the special effects.
Yeah, because it was like I think it was like one of the first. Well, it wasn't CGI. It wasn't that. It was like a matte paint, like not a matte painting, but they actually it was animated.
Sure.
Yeah, so they animated the shields, and like even though some people debate the use of the shields because like I think like if you get shot by it, it won't affect you, but if you just put your arm through it, like with a knife, you can go through it.
Yeah, that's
weird.
weird.
Yeah, so that's even a problem in the new one.
They're very fluid shields.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so then this is not the most confusing part of what happened because then Patrick Stewart comes in, they fight a little bit.
They razzle,
and then I think I was so confused about the training montage with like that little gun they use.
Yeah.
I was like, what's going on? Like, why is he fighting this dummy? And it's just like, how is he shooting shit out of a gun attached to his like face or anything?
Yeah.
So that confused the shit out of me. And then let's see what happened. Was that when we met Dean Stockwell, the doctor?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, Dean Stockwell, the man.
Yeah.
He's the best. We love him.
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Then I guess it just bogged down in everything because then it just started to explain more and more.
Dr. Uwe.
Dr. Uwe. Then he started explaining more and more about what's happening, and then he started having dreams, and then the dream, like...
Yeah, he's got, like, psychic abilities.
His mother's was...
Pregnant?
Was in the Sisters of something, and they breed women to help the Kyle MacLachlan's dad. Like, it's very confusing. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
You know, I've never seen such a simple story that's so convoluted, because it really is just about these two families.
Yeah, two warring factions
fighting over the spice.
But then they add like all this mytho to it. Like he wasn't supposed to be born.
Right.
And now he has to pass this test to be a god, I guess.
Yeah, he's like the chosen one essentially, and the being that's visits the emperor in the beginning.
Yeah.
Seems to know that Paul is to be the chosen one, and
That's why the Slug monster wants him dead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. It's I'm sure it's done really well in the book because you can world build like this, and I'm sure it's incredible what Frank Herbert was able to do with the book. In a 2-hour and 15-minute movie, though, it's a fool's errand.
It's a fool's errand.
The new movie is the first half of the book, right?
Yeah.
And that movie is longer than this one.
Yeah.
This one suffers from so many pacing issues, and frankly, just the fact that you need subtitles to even faintly understand who is who and what exactly is going on, that I can't imagine that. Like, this is about the time that the Star Trek movies were starting to get good.
Yeah, actually,
right?
I think this year one of them was one of the top 10 films of 84.
84 was probably Search for Spock, maybe?
Yeah, that was it.
Okay.
3, yeah.
So, that was right after Wrath of Khan, which was great. Probably a lot of people consider that the best Star Trek movie. And I would put the visuals of this one probably on par with that. But can you imagine being a mainstream... And I know this movie bombed, so mainstream audiences largely didn't see it. But could you imagine just need something to do on a Saturday morning or even afternoon, and you say, well, I really liked that last Star Trek, and those Star Wars movies were good. Let's go see Dune. You would walk out of there like, what in the hell did I just watch?
Yeah, we'll get into it later about some of the reviews of this film, but yeah, a lot of those people get the same sentiment you do. Yeah, because it's just hard to understand. Like, I watch anime, read manga. Like, it's kind of hard. Like, I was in a script writing class one time, and this girl decided to do a love story set in Japan. Problem was, we didn't know like the sex of the names. Like how like there's not gender pronouns. I forgot. Like you learn a different language. There's like he and she versions of everything.
Yeah, masculine and feminine.
Masculine, feminine, yeah. So it's kind of like that. We didn't understand who was who because we didn't know if like he was a girl or if she was a boy.
Very true.
Stuff like that. So it's kind of like that for this. It's just like we don't know who these people are. Like,
on that note, though, my favorite part I think about this story, about just Dune itself, is that you've got characters named Gurney, Thufir, Yui, Reverend Mother Romal, Padishah Emperor Shaddam IV, and then our hero. Paul.
My
favorite part.
It's good. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah, because I think like Star Wars, because like the names aren't that hard, right? You got
No.
Luke, Leia, Han,
Chewie.
yeah, Chewie,
Easy.
easy.
Yeah.
Star Trek, also easy, right?
Kirk, Spock,
Kirk,
McCoy.
Spock,
Yeah.
McCoy,
Easy.
easy. Then you get here, you're like real sci-fi, you're like,
Chani.
yeah, Chani, and
Yeah.
stuff
Which
like
again works fine in a book or in a
Yeah.
2-part movie.
I think that's why like some of the most famous anime of all time are successful because the names are so simple. You got Goku,
Yeah.
you got Monkey, you got Naruto, which
Sure.
people probably would kind of hard, but you know, it's very easy to say Naruto.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thufir is not an easy name to say. Or
No.
Yui. When I heard the name Yui, I had to look up how that was spelled.
Yeah.
Yueh.
Mhm.
Yui. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ambitious, but it's probably a fool's errand. It's a fool's errand to try and compact this into 2 hours and 15 minutes, unless you're just willing to cut everything down to the bare bones. This guy is
Yeah,
the
that's exactly
chosen
what
one.
they did. That's what they did in the new movie. You know,
Yeah.
because they realized we need to make this into a movie. They cut everything bare bones. It's very minimalist, but so it has a future dystopian feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, like the seals, for instance, it's very simple. You know, the
Yeah.
basically you just see like once you get hit, you see little lights, beams, and stuff like that. And if you actually get hit, it turns red.
Yeah.
So it's simple like that. I mean, the logic of it doesn't really make sense still, but you know, but it's better looking definitely from what 1984 had.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
But of course, you could have done that in the 80s too. You could have just had little flash of lights every time they hit each other, and then
Yeah. you probably could have done this better if you actually cut out some of the mythology from the book, like the Water of Life.
Yeah.
You could probably still make him the chosen one. Like, the problem is the first half of this movie I found to be relatively followable.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But because, I mean, they wrapped this up. The last probably 45 minutes of this is probably the second half of the book, if I had to guess.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
after his father dies. He and his mother are brought in by the Fremen, and he's revealed to be their chosen one.
Yeah.
And he leads them, along with the desert sandworms.
Yeah.
He leads them to defeat the Harkonnen forces.
Yeah,
and
and
the Emperor's
I
forces.
could tell too that was the end of the first. That was like the end too. I could tell. I haven't
Didn't it
watched
feel-
the new film, but I can tell like that's when they was supposed to end.
That's what I would bet. His
And
dad
then
dying.
his dad dying,
Yeah.
and then if they would have made a second movie, that's where it would have taken off.
Probably.
Yeah. But of course, then the second half happened. Everything happens so fast. It's just like, yeah. And that's
And-
the
yeah.
main problem with it because we don't get time with these characters.
No.
And we don't feel attachment to them. Like Shang Young was supposed to be a major storyline in it. She was supposed to be the love interest, and she is. But we don't. It's like we cut the one scene. They're in love.
Yeah.
Because like it's been 6 months and we're now really in love, and like we didn't see that, so we don't
Right.
have attachment to her.
Right.
I didn't even know it was Son Young. I didn't even know
Yeah.
because we don't see her that much.
No, you're right. I was actually very surprised at how little she was in the movie, how few lines she had, and like, frankly, I like her and Colin McLaughlin, but they don't have enough screen time to build the chemistry.
Yeah.
You know.
And also that it goes into the enemies too, because Harkonnen, favorite part of the movie, we keep on praising them, like the
Ugh,
Baron.
his white heads.
Oh, it's
Ugh,
amazing.
fucking gross.
It's so great. But he's like the main guy he's supposed to face is not the Baron himself. It's Sting. They're
Yeah.
setting up Sting to be the main guy.
What is he, like the Baron's nephew or something?
I don't know, but he's like the
Fade.
most handsome of them all. Like,
He is.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he is the nephew too.
Yeah, he's the nephew. So he's supposed to fight him at the very end. Problem is, they don't talk to each other or communicate or even see each other until the very end.
Yeah.
So we don't have a sense of like rivalry between them or like
Yeah, there's no history.
tension. You know.
Yeah, there's no,
I mean, they're supposed to hate each other
You
because there's
killed
this
my dad.
blood war, but we
Yeah.
don't feel the deep. Like we should have him like kill his father. Like we
Right.
should have seen like maybe he should have saw it, and I would put the image in his mind of like he's supposed to kill him, but we don't get that. And of course, I would say like I like the second half of this movie because it's like a lot of the cool stuff happens. The explosions, the sandworms are amazing.
Yeah, they
They
are.
look great. Even though
Yeah.
sometimes you can tell, like, especially when he's climbing the sandworm, it's definitely fake. But it's still the models are good and everything, and the
Yeah.
and the score of it also Brian Eno and Toto did this, so
Yeah.
that's fun.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to knock the special effects. I thought the special effects in this movie were actually pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, for some reason, somehow Star Wars was able to just look better than anything else at the time. It's kind of hard to reappraise them, too, because I'd have to have access to the original versions, and those really don't exist much anymore.
Yeah.
Everything's special edition now. But for them, they used practical effects and just it worked so well. It looked far better than the Star Trek movies.
Yeah.
It looked better than this. But I thought this actually looked pretty dang good, and him riding the worms looked awesome. I thought.
Yeah, that was cool,
Him
yeah.
riding the worms were it was better than any of the ship battle stuff.
Yeah.
or even better than like the psychedelic trip he takes when he drinks that water of life
Oh
or
yeah.
whatever.
When he
it's
meets
called.
his sister, and then
Yeah.
like his sister gives birth.
Oh yeah, talk about another thing that was rushed. Oh, by the way, my sister was born and
Yeah.
she was accelerated growth and whatnot, which I'm sure is in the book and it's fine. It's just when it comes to at you in the last half hour, and his sister's a big plot point
Yeah.
and an important character in the story because isn't spoiler alert, she's the one that actually kills the Baron, right?
Yeah. See, like, yeah, that was amazing.
That was really good.
Amazing. You just see Lisa Witt, like 7-year-old Lisa Witt,
Yeah.
and she's just like she has somebody else's voice in her, and she's
Yeah.
like, "Hello, Emperor." I'm like, "What the hell's going on?"
That was another underdeveloped thing was that voice thing because remember
Yeah.
Paul uses it when his mom's mouth is gagged because she has the voice, and so Paul has to use it to get the drivers of that.
Yeah, he has
to,
the
like,
power
kill each other.
to control other people using
Yeah.
his voice.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that comes off as a contrivance.
Yeah.
But I'm sure it's really well developed in the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, it's a shame they didn't just try and make this into 2 parts.
Yeah.
I'm sure it could have been cool.
It would have been great. And also, they would have kept Lynch's cut. I mean, I think it would have been better than what they did with it. I mean, we don't know, but it would have been even weirder, but that would have made the movie more fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite part of when the little girl meets the Emperor is when the other, like the sister from the tribe is advising the Emperor. And she's like, "We should kill this child. She's insolent." And then Alicia Witt just looks at us like, "Get out of my mind!"
Yeah, that was good. That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were little bits of unintentional humor as well as
Yeah.
intentional humor
Yeah.
that make it, more of a fun watch, I would say.
Yeah. Let's get into the Baron more, 'cause I don't think we talked about the Draconians enough, because I think they were the best part of the movie. The way the Baron looks is amazing. He's grotesque looking. He can fly. It's amazing. And I don't know what this race of people are, because like they have they have things attached to their chest that if you pop out they bleed. I don't know what he did to that guy. He popped the thing. He started bleeding. Did he drink his blood or?
I didn't know either.
Yeah.
It's all very weird, and I don't know if they're human or not human.
Yeah,
I would assume that
they're all
probably not.
redheads. Some of them have their head shaved in the middle and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah. We talked about the scene where he the guy who plays Pluto comes in. There's a cow attached to this hanging upside down, and like they're shocking him for some reason.
Yeah.
He takes out the cow's tongue, starts eating it, and then you just see the Baron with his sidekick, and the sidekick's just moving the Baron around in a giant circle.
Yeah. None of it made sense to me, but.
No.
I don't know if you want to just consider it something Lynch did. Just
Lynch is like, let's make these people interesting. Let's just do weird shit, and that's what he did. When the main scientist of Kamagaklin's family gets kidnapped and gets something implanted in his chest to make an Alkarian, he says, "We have poisoned you," and now they hand him a box with a cat and a vat taped together, and like, "You must milk this cat."
What the hell was that about? It was so weird.
That's just Lynch, man. It's just insane. Because
I mean, that's fine. I just want to know. I don't know if that's from the books or if it's just Lynch.
That's true. Yeah, but that's Lynch. Let's talk about Lynch as a filmmaker, because I think Lynch. I was watching a video last night called like the 30th greatest films of all time, and this is just the opinion of a guy, and he put Mulholland Drive in it, and he said like you're not really supposed to understand Lynch films. They're basically just nightmares come to life.
Yeah.
And that's true, because he just makes films that I don't really understand, but you can just relate to him somehow.
They're surreal.
They're surreal, just walking nightmares. Like, you may have these nightmares, or like, it's just insane. And so he kind of tried to influence that a little bit in this movie.
I could see it.
Yeah.
Like Eraserhead to me is like a scary movie that really doesn't scare me. It just unsettles me.
It's actually a story about parenthood. That's the main part of the story, but just done in a completely crazy way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which again makes me wonder why Lynch was so sought after for this movie. But I like that he did like the source material, and you can tell he has some fun with it, despite hating the movie and hating the experience.
I don't know if he had to I think he may have input in like design of the film and everything, because like
I'm sure he had some.
Yeah, so it was once again really great. I should have found out who did the special effects for this, because it's amazing. So the end of the movie, Kyle MacLachlan has learned how to control everything, and like this is the best part, because he's just like killing everybody, and they're just like, we have to stop him. We need the Emperor to come here now, and so they do, and then the little sister comes, kills Hakonnen, throws Hakonnen into a giant sandworm,
Yeah.
and he gets eaten.
That was great, him floating into the mouth.
He's thrown into the mouth, yeah.
Screaming.
And that was I say the apex of it all, because they kept on, because it was just them shooting the laser weapons that they were taught by McLaughlin to use, and it's awesome. There's explosions everywhere, everybody's dying, and then we get to the actual fight between McLaughlin and Sting, and this would say this is when it got not exciting anymore, because this is like the least exciting fight scene I've ever seen before in my life. Because it's supposed to be this big epic, and then you see him fight, you're like, oh. There's no music. There's no, nothing to background it or anything like that. They're just fighting.
Yeah, the choreography is very unimpressive.
Yeah.
However, I will say the killing blow was pretty cool.
Yeah.
When he flips Sting over and stabs him in the neck, and then camera pans up from Sting with a knife in his neck. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, definitely. So when I watched that, I was like, this movie's like Star Wars, but not fun.
Yeah. No, I think you're absolutely right on with something.
Which is fine. You can take a sci-fi movie very seriously and still be good, which people have problems with Marvel's because people complain Marvel's not taking it seriously at all. So every film's just going to be this goofy and shit, which some people say that's what comic books should be, but people are getting tired of that. They want to say it, but that's a whole another issue.
That's a stupid argument, too, because there are some pretty serious implications behind, the Civil War and Captain America Civil War.
Yeah.
Right? We won't go off on that diatribe, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah.
People need to make up their minds. I think it's just a vocal.
Yeah, but Star Wars can be fun with also being serious. Because everything in Star Wars is serious. I mean, there's some humor to it.
Oh yeah.
Like R2D2 and C-3PO and stuff like that.
But there are always stakes.
There are always stakes to it,
Yeah.
But but that's more fun because you have lightsabers and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. This one you have the I'm trying to remember what that thing was where she has it on her finger. It's a needle, and she threatens to kill Captain McLaughlin. The Gom Jabbar.
The Gom Jabbar.
The Gom Jabbar. I was trying to remember a YouTube short, but it's like
terrific.
The Gom Jabbar. They didn't have lightsabers. They had the Gom Jabbar knives.
Yeah.
So
yeah, just as catchy as lightsaber, right?
Yeah.
The Gom Jabbar.
The Gom Jabbar.
That's funny.
Oh man.
Is that what that thing? Remember that floating was that one that was floating? The same thing.
No.
Kyle MacLachlan's like, must stay perfectly still. He sounded like an anime character right there talking to himself.
No, that wasn't the Gom Jabbar. No, that was the Gom Jabbar, I think.
Was it?
I'm telling you from the photos. I don't know. But the Gom Jabbar definitely has a little needle on the end, or the poison on it. It's like...
Yeah. This is such a tough one to talk about, isn't it?
Yeah. But still, interesting and entertaining. So, I guess...
Yeah, agreed.
So, we've gone through the whole movie. The movie ends. He's God now. Which is not really what Dune's supposed to be about, I guess.
Kwisatz Haderach?
Yeah.
Yeah, something.
Because I guess in the original book, I think it's supposed to warn people against making people into gods,
Yeah.
Yeah. But the movie kind of ignores. They just make him to a god.
He's a god, yes. He's got the psychic powers from the water of life and the ability to control the sandworms.
Yes.
Which is badass.
Riding
cool.
The
sandworms was badass.
Yeah, it was cool.
Well, do you want to get into final thoughts then?
I guess so, yeah. Let's do this.
This is a very hard movie to break down.
Yeah. I guess I'll go first. I'm confused for the first half, and then I kind of understand it during the middle. Mm-hmm. And then the second half, it was rushed, definitely. Mm-hmm. Definitely rushed, but it was great. They had a bunch of weird stuff. They also had I love the battles. The 3D effects were great. I love the training montages of them training to use the guns and everything. Mm-hmm. The action battle was cool. Then at the very end, the battle itself was not fun at all.
I know.
So so then that happened, and then it kind of petered out because I kind of forget the ending a little bit.
Petered out.
Petered out. Yes, petered out. So if I were to give this movie a ranking, I'd give it out of 6.
Yeah.
What we do here.
Yeah.
I would give it. I want to say 3. It's average. I'll give it 3 stars out of 6.
Okay.
That's what I would say.
Because
I definitely agree with it's Star Wars, but not fun at all.
Yeah. And totally not understandable to mainstream audiences who have not read Dune. Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, you have to watch this movie with subtitles. And I remember thinking distinctly multiple times while watching it with subtitles, I would be so lost without these.
Yeah.
Because the dialogue, I don't think it's a sound mixing problem. I think it's more just the actual names of the characters and the actual kind of language of the universe it's not normal English in a way. Mm-hmm. If I didn't have subtitles on, I wouldn't know which character was which oftentimes. I wouldn't know even in his voiceovers while there's other action going on. I don't think I'd be able to hear it clearly or fully process what it was saying. So I agree with you. I actually had a lot of fun with this movie just because I feel like this is such a spectacularly ambitious project. I don't think it worked well at all.
No.
But it is so spectacularly out there, and I love the fact that it was still attempted. You know what I mean? Like, this is, had this movie been lost, it probably would be more famous, right?
Yeah.
Like the Jodorowsky's Dune.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's made, and the fact that I sat and was thoroughly entertained by it, just because it was such a spectacular mess at times, but also at other times it was genuinely fun.
Yeah.
When I could follow it, I enjoyed the hell out of it. I enjoyed the hell out of the visuals and seeing Kyle MacLachlan in his first big role. That was a lot of fun. I will say there were no standout acting performances. Really.
Yeah, I think that a lot of people talk about that. Like, it was mostly just like because they were given so much info to just pump out that I don't think that most people were just standing around. They were like, "Oh, I gotta explain all this first, and then we do the action."
Yeah.
So I definitely say that because the script definitely has its issues.
Oh God,
Definitely,
yeah.
yeah.
The strengths of this movie are the music and the visuals, in my opinion.
Yes.
If you just go in and you understand the bare basics of the story and turn your mind off whenever they start talking about the water of life or the Kamjabar or the whatever the weapon was called, and you just have fun with what you're seeing on screen, and oh hey, there's Brad Dourif, hey, there's Patrick Stewart. I think you can have a good time.
Yeah.
So here's what I'm ranking it. Without subtitles, I'd give it 1.5 Sting 6-packs out of 6.
Wow.
With subtitles, I'm giving it 3.5 Sting 6-packs out of 6. Watch this movie with subtitles and you'll enjoy yourself. Turn your mind off a little bit and just roll with this wackiness.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I probably wouldn't recommend it to most people. But for me, I enjoyed watching it. And now I can gladly tell my cousin who's into all the Dune books now, I can say, yeah, I saw Dune.
Yeah.
As long as you have no follow-up questions, I saw it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I should have put it 3 out of 6 pugs. Yeah. So many animals in this film. I don't know why. I don't know why they have dogs. Is it to show their class or something? Like, I guess so, but
Maybe.
It's a futuristic society with a giant fucking slug that can transcend space and time. I don't think you need actual dogs.
Or a cat that needs to be milked.
Yeah.
All very weird.
Yeah, very weird. Okay, so that was our thoughts of the film. Let's find out what the critics thought, aka Siskel and Ebert. So,
this will be good.
not the best. No. Ebert gave it 1 star.
Wow, I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
honestly.
I think this is not the first 1 star. I think he gave Clifford half a star, or a star. I'm not sure. I forget.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So.
So let's read you some excerpts from the review. Quote: "It took Dune about 9 minutes to completely strip me of my anticipation. The movie is a real mess, incomprehensible, ugly, unstructured, pointless excursion into the murky realms of one of the most confusing screenplays of all time. Even the color is no good. Everything is seen through a sort of dusty yellow filter. Nobody looks happy in this movie. Actors stand in ridiculous costumes, mouthing dialogue that has little or no context. And they're not even given scenes that work on the self-contained basis. Dune looks like a project that was seriously out of control from the start. Sets were constructed, actors were hired. No usual screenplay was ever written. Everybody faked it as long as they could." So that was Ebert's end quote. Sorry, he did not like that. Siskel also hated it. I watched the review of it. He said it was the worst. It was ugly. The special effects were cheap. Story is confusing. Wanted to leave after 20 minutes. Names are hard to pronounce. Somewhat disgusting because basically, I guess, the unborn child and also the Baron itself.
Baron, yeah.
Yeah. And giant holes in the story covered up by voiceover.
All right.
Yeah. I mean, they're somewhat right, but I think the special effects are definitely better than what they're saying.
I would agree with you.
Yeah.
There are certainly worse special effects in that time.
Yeah.
Weren't there? I mean, yeah, I think they're being a little harsh about it, but at the same time, after putting yourself in their shoes in 1984, after coming off of Star Wars and the Star Trek movies, I suppose, and 2001: A Space Odyssey, which obviously was well before, but
yeah, I think this year was also.
I'm not surprised by the number ranking.
Yeah, this year was also 2010 also.
Oh, I actually like that movie.
Yes. So yeah, this was also that year it was released also. Yeah, so I kind of understand where they're coming from, but I still say it's way better than a 1 star. Like, it's definitely a 2.5. If I rated it out of like 4, 2.5 stars, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely. So awards, it was nominated for a Academy Award for Best Sound, which is
wow.
Yeah, and won Stinker's Bad Movie Award for Worst Picture.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's great for them.
Yeah.
So okay, so the top films.
Sure, they're thrilled.
Yeah, film. Oh, I'm sure David Lynch is thrilled because he never talks about this movie ever. Okay, so top films from 1984: Ghostbusters #1, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom #2, Gremlins #3, The Karate Kid #4, Police Academy #5, Footloose 6, Beverly Hills Cop 7, Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock 8,
Nice.
9 Terms of Endearment, and 10 Romancing the Stone.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a solid list.
So what does Star Trek 3 rank in like the Star Trek? Because I know it's like even number movies good,
Yeah. That's
odd
what
number
they
movies
say.
bad.
I like
right?
the search for. Yeah, I mean, typically that is true more
Yeah.
than it's not. I would say part 3, Search for Spock, is probably one of the more polarizing ones. I think most people view it as a good one, not great. It's part of 2, 3, and 4 make up the trilogy.
Yeah.
They're all based. They're all actually associated with one another. I would say it's upper middle tier, if you will.
Yeah.
It's considered one of the better of the, possibly the best of the odd numbered ones anyway.
Yeah, because at the end of the second one, Spock is dead, right?
Correct.
And so, but Spock is somehow alive in this one, and they have to find him, right? So,
yeah, they have to go back. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, it's the whole thing. Yeah. Out of the 169 films on BoxOfficeMojo.com for 1984, Dune came 50th.
Okay.
Yeah, so it made, of course, like $30 to $37 million. So,
Sure.
yeah. Fun facts about this film. We got through most of them through the production and stuff like that. But Sir Patrick Stewart was not aware that who Sting was. He knew he was a musician.
Really?
Yeah, he didn't know. So he asked him, "Are you a solo artist?" And he said, "No, I'm in a band called The Police." Stewart was totally unaware and thought Sting was in a police band.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
that's funny.
Yeah. The suits worn by the guild members were body bags that were found in a disused fire station back in the early 1920s.
All right.
The bags have actually been used several times, something that kept from the cast members until shooting was completed. Also, they were very uncomfortable. So that sucks for Patrick Stewart. You had to go through Dune and also Star Trek Next Generations, wearing the most uncomfortable stuff of all time.
Yeah, no kidding.
I heard they had back problems because of the Star Trek uniforms.
Really?
Yeah.
That sucks.
It's so uncomfortable. Because you look at them, they're just like, it's like there's a box underneath them.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very stiff looking.
Faid Rathua, which I believe was Kyle. No, that was Sting. Was originally supposed to step out of the steam bath nude, but of course the studio and everybody was like, no, you can't do that. So they told the costume designer to put something on, so they put him in a skimpy G-string.
I know, what a six pack. I never knew Sting had that six pack.
Yeah. So during the original release of the movie, there was cheat sheets to help explain the movie, which is a very bad
that's
sign.
a red flag.
That's
yeah.
a red flag.
That's such a.
Because I think the woman who plays the mother, Francisca Annis, was like, if you have a movie you have to explain, that's a red flag. That's then it's not going to be a good movie.
Without a doubt.
Yeah. Okay. While shooting in Mexico, filming came nearly to a halt, and most of the crew and cast came down with Montezuma's Revenge, most commonly known as Traveler's Diarrhea. The studio had built a full cafeteria large enough to accommodate the entire cast and crew every meal, as well as import all food from the United States to keep the movie on schedule.
Oh my God.
Yeah. All right, and during one scene, Duke Leto, Jürgen Prochnow, was strapped to a black stretcher and dropped. During one take, a high-powered bulb positioned above Prochnow exploded from the heat, and luckily he free himself from the stretcher before the glass exploded, so he's okay.
Wow, that would have sucked.
Yeah. Definitely. So that's mostly all the things I found interesting, because we already gone through the interesting stuff really about the movie, about the backstory and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was fun. So that's it. That's Dune.
All right, terrific.
Hope you enjoyed it. This is probably going to be our longest episode. Yeah, an hour and 5 minutes right now. So.
Well, should we save this Name That Film segment, or do you want to do it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it then.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah, Red Button's MVP, The Baron. That's it.
Oh God, yeah.
There's no question.
No other performance really stands out.
Yeah. I think he should have been nominated at least for an award.
That dude was something.
That was great.
Yeah, he was a lot of fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all right then. All right. So we'll spin the wheel to see what we're watching next in a moment. But in the meantime, in the spirit of taking something too large to adapt and crunching it together into something digestible in length. Instead of 10 hints this time for Name That Film, I'm giving you 8. And for people unfamiliar with this, this is when I pick a movie and I list some bits of trivia and I wait for Mo here to indicate that he knows what movie I'm talking about, at which point he writes it down somewhere and shows me, and I continue reading the rest of the clues for you people listening at home. Mm-hmm. So the clues get more and more pointed toward the time, what movie it is. So I don't know. Hopefully I can stump you this time.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to do so. Are you ready?
I'm ready. You want me to write it down again?
You can type it.
Okay.
In a search bar. That's fine. Just don't blurt it out.
Okay.
All right. 8 clues. Here we go. All right. Clue number 1. This film was released in 1984.
Okay.
Clue number 2. Despite taking place in Ohio, the film is very clearly filmed in California. Clue number 3. Filming took place over only 32 days. All right, those are the ones that, those are the throwaway ones.
Yeah.
You'd never guess.
No.
Okay. All right, clue number 4. The movie's villain was based on an alcoholic homeless man that frightened the film's director when he was 10 years old. According to the director, the man peered at him through his bedroom window one night. All right, number 5. Actresses considered for the lead role included Jennifer Grey, Demi Moore, and Courtney Cox. In the end, however, Heather Langenkamp eventually won the role.
I don't even know who that is.
Oh. You'll get this. Don't worry. I have faith in you. Clue number 6. While this film was critically acclaimed, its 2010 remake was largely reviled.
Oh, I think I got it. No, wait. That wasn't... No, it was 1984. I'm going to guess.
All right. You have locked in after clue number 6. Clue number 7. This film was a huge success and is credited with single-handedly saving New Line Cinema. And clue number 8. The director's daughter insisted that her father cast then unknown actor Johnny Depp in the movie because he was dreamy, quote unquote. Mm-hmm. All right, we've gone through our 8 clues. You've written down an answer. You locked in after clue number 6. Tell me what you had.
I have Nightmare on Elm Street, TJ.
Good work.
Thank you.
You like my ceremonious sound effect?
Yes, I do love it, yeah.
It's here. I'll give you one more.
Okay. Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Thanks.
Terrific. Well done. I will stump you one of these days. In fact, I thought about just picking like Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child, and just fucking with you. But you probably still would have gotten it. Hopefully. All right, so one more thing to do today, right?
Spin the wheel, make the deal. Let's spin it, baby. Let's see what we got. Next movie up. Yes. Mapplethorpe. I like that. Gets ready for the second most movie of 2010s.
It's go time, baby.
It's go time, baby. Okay, so that's the episode. If you like us, we're now on YouTube.
Yes.
Under It's Still New to Us, damn it. Mm-hmm. So please look that up. All episodes are on there. Yes. We're also on Spotify and SoundCloud and Anchor. So please go look that out. We have a Facebook page called It's Still New to Us.
They won't let you swear.
They won't let me swear. It's bullshit. Come on. Is it going to end like Twitter soon?
I hope not.
Yeah. Ugh. I don't know. Let's see. And also we have Twitter at it_dammit. So please go check that out. Please subscribe, rate, do whatever you need to do to help us launch this podcast into the upper echelon, and so we can quit our jobs and live comfortable lives. Yeah.
That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, I'm Mo, and I'll be selling cat milk outside the Hobby Lobby on 18 Mile. So, please meet me there.
And I'm TJ, and I got nothing to say to that.
Okay. So that's it. Bye, everybody. Have a Happy New Year. See ya.
Happy New Year.
Bye. And let's have Robert Mitchum play us out.